Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. It's time for some more Geopolitical Simulator. I'm Relios Gilvin, and today, first I'd like to give a shout out to Diogo Costa in the comments for informing me that most of this ministry's fucking budget is actually because I have a national service. I missed this one. Apparently it's only 971 million, but hey, that is still an extra billion right there. Honestly, hard to complain about that. I mean, oof. Yeah, I'm pretty certain this the state budgetary is bugged, so we'll have to use this panel. Like right now, our expenditure is 62 billion, so, and our state revenues are 94 billion, so we have a 32 billion surplus. All right, interesting. Sure, that's actually kind of handy for me. Alright, so now I know I have 32 or so billion to work with per year. Assuming I want to, be paying off any amount of debt, which I kind of do.
The decree...
Hold on, have a state salary. We're cutting our own salary. It's making people happy. I mean, I'm considering raising the minimum wage. I'd really like to get the unemployment rate lower, though. Of course, that requires some forms of economic growth. Alright. So, let's have a look at our service industry here. Yeah, the service industry... We're importing a lot less. I guess that's good. But ultimately, we're shrinking here, which is weird, because most of this is nationalized, and I haven't touched too much of it. That said... privatizing a pile of this could give me the short-term boost that I need, because none of these are particularly profitable either. That's important to note. Like, we have a look at some of our budgeting. It'll be under taxation, probably. We're getting 6 billion in sectors nationalized. 6 billion, so more. So, no millions or whatever. I have honestly no idea right now. Yeah, that's 96 billion, so that's fine. Stagnating around 4%. Overall, the results are very good, yep.
Here is our growth forecast for the end of the year based on
6.62%, and a budget surplus of 12.78%. All of that, I'd say, is pretty good. I'd like my unemployment to be a little lower. I generally like to keep it around 2 to 3%. And I could do something drastic with the minimum wage, and I could probably increase my earnings significantly. Purchasing power, yeah. Alright. I have to be very careful about how I do it, though. Very careful.
The decree...
because in doing so, I'll probably create a pile of unemployment. But I know at this current state that I'm in that I can totally get away with raising my minimum wage to make more money on taxation and the like. Pretty sizably, I'd imagine, too, considering it's 121 bucks a month. Remember, this is minimum wage per month. So for a 40-hour work week, this equals out to be, what, 75 cents an hour? At this point, I can raise minimum wage pretty significantly. Likely without too much consequence. Minister for Transport threatens our course of action, at least in my worries. And I mean, yeah. So, I could probably get away with raising the minimum wage, but I stand to lose if I do it too much. Because I also want to keep an eye on my economic growth. While abolishing the national service. Oh, excellent. Alright. Alright. So. This would generate me 80 million if I set it as a 10% turnover. Or, wait, just 8. So I'd be able to drop the company turnover tax, therefore, by about 5% or 4%. I'm trying to think, like, how I can tax basically doing this. 80 million. Oh, yeah, that's only 80 million. That's nothing. Without taxing industry. Because I want to encourage a movement away from agriculture and into industry. Generally, the easier way to do that's through specific taxes. But not easy. Well, automotive industry is increasing. That's good. I know somewhere around here we've had like 12 billion in growth, which is great. Don't get me wrong. The problem is I have no idea what industries are actually growing, which tends to be the case. This one's also grown by a pretty sizable percentage. Alright. I mean, I know we got a pretty sizable increase here, but meh. This just moved up to 0.1 to 1.8% of our income tax. Employment percentage has actually dropped. So people are getting paid a lot in this industry. Good to know. Alright. But yeah, it doesn't explain, doesn't really explain the massive amount of growth we're seeing. Like, that's only 1 billion, that's the problem. I really wish I could figure out where it is. I feel like it's in here somewhere. Actually need a lot more in steel. Let's 100 million US dollars in subsidies. Fair bit. How much would it cost to bring this in? 1.2 billion. That is a fair bit. Alright. Well, you know what? With my 35 billion, it might just be better for me to focus on some other things, like bringing education up to snuff. I mean, hell, if I can get general education up to 8 stars here, that's the amount in the US, by the way. Then that's freaking great. And then 5-star the rest. That'd be ideal. That's only 4 billion. Alright. It's not terrible. Alright, let's pause here. Have a look over this. Okay, I'm not really willing to do anything until quarter one's over. I want quarter one just to pay off some debt. Okay, good. This is actually back down yet. 8.7% still a little high. I want to pay off some debt right now to ensure that my debt reimbursement doesn't cost me too much. We have actually taken on a fair bit of loans last year. We're up to a total debt of 97 billion, it said. Which, you know, is not great. Poor Greece. Only 208% of their GDP. Oh, there is no good answers to the Greece situation. Alright. Like I said, most of my problem tends to be the fact that a lot of my loans, I can't really, like, change who they're from. Because otherwise, I could totally move a pile of my loans to, say, Russia, the United Arab Emirates, China, probably. I'm actually kind of surprised I'm not borrowing. Apparently, China doesn't even give me decent interest rates. Then again, their ratings agencies have been pretty terrible to me. But yeah, I could easily move it around to other countries, and I could be paying significantly less. But, you know, that's how it goes sometimes. Alright. But we'll casually wait and see. I'm also curious to see how our growth forecasts go. Growth forecast 646. Alright. Back down to normal. Like, I'm not surprised to see the growth rate slowing down, but 6% growth per year is still pretty okay. It's not ideal, I don't think, but you could probably get it higher. But you know what? I'm getting this with a 9% key interest rate. Honestly speaking, that's, yeah. Exchange rate's absolutely terrible. Ugh. Just is. Hell yeah. So. Cement, maybe? Did that industry go up a pile? Not really. 0.1 billion. Yeah, lack of spaces in the secondary school system. Thank you. That's a good thing to address as well, as I'm sort of thinking up my... Oh, the tooth farm is with me to the death. Good. I'm sort of thinking up how I want to reform the school system here. I'm thinking a 6-star school system here is definitely very possible. How much is this going to cost? We know we have about 32 billion to work with, and I also know I need some medical reform sometime in the near future. So far it looks like I'm going to want to spend around 12 to 14 billion on education, which leaves me about another, 20 billion to spend on meds. I would say that's pretty freaking good. That's pretty good. We have enough bullying as it is. Everyone's complaining about the Minister of Transport. I should probably have a look at that. Public finances. Everyone's happy about that. Good. Yeah, like I said, I kind of want to make sure that we do a loan payoff with our full amount right now while we have this massive surplus, because I'm pretty much going to be getting rid of most of it. And taking on far more debt than I'd like to be. So, we really got to bring our education up to Western par. Like, our infrastructure is now pretty good, but that's really only a part of it. Man, like... Hell yeah, we need to bring this in. And at some point, like I said, I want to connect everything with, like, a high-speed rail. Though, honestly, I don't know if that's ever going to happen. That was way amazingly expensive. Amazingly. Well, that's not true. I now actually know I have 32 billion to work with, because I rediscovered how I check that. So, how much would that actually cost again? Now that I know I have 32 billion to work with, I've allocated about 14 billion now for an education package. If I wanted to bring healthcare up to snuff, like 5 stars, yeah, this shit's expensive. Vaccination always 10 out of 10. I should have set that up a long time ago. Oof. Not bad. I could maybe do 6. I might just have enough. Government waste. Yeah. My ministers aren't exactly the best at not fighting with each other. So yeah, we could do a 6-star education, or 6-star healthcare system. And easily is the same with an education system. And 10-star maintenance. And we still have a little money left over by my count. Now, once again, I would like to double check on the potential for a high-speed rail, because something like that really stands to help. Infrastructure is always the first and biggest priority. So, like I said, in theory... Oh yeah, we also need to consider additional housing. Hitting all the cities, right? Yeah. Okay. So in total, this project alone would cost 16 billion. So I basically have a choice between either education, healthcare, or a countrywide high-speed rail. And I can only afford 2. Oh, fuck. Alright. Yeah, you know what? I don't care about your quarrels. Oh, that's not what I wrote to hear. Alright, I'm gonna have to find money elsewhere then, it would so seem, to get all of my ambitious projects off the ground. A 8 billion cash surplus, good. So that would mean in, what, 12 quarters or about 3-4 years-ish, we could easily pay off our entire debt. Good. Good. That's what I like to see. Alright. Still can't believe. Yeah, Grumpies and their friggin' rating, man. Like, my public debt is down to 33.8% of the GDP. Like, can I get the world stats on this here? Yeah, world average 50%. I'm below the Asian average, or ASEAN average, which is pretty much all non-China. Thailand, Cambodia, I'm about the same on them. Romania. Yeah, let's get this chart open here. Like, most of the West is terrible compared to me. Like, Kuwait, actually, and Botswana in the negatives. Yeah. I'm slowly managing to get it down there, but we'll see. Falling
Here is
estimate.
our growth forecast.
Yeah, it's falling slightly. Stagnating around 4%. Alright. Well, as I said, I'm going to spend the first quarter to pay off the debt, and I think I want an education reform package. Like, this is actually going to bring us up to, like, American standards for education. Which is both profoundly sad and amazing at the same time, for the knowledge of just how cheap this is. Like, let's be honest here. I mean, I'm pretty certain I'm falling behind a bit on these stars out here, but it's not a terrible way to start it. Alright. In addition, we're going to want extra schools. 700 ain't bad. It'll cost me about $2 billion a year. Yep. Let's construct some extra schools. Hell, I'll be nice and throw in another 3,000. All right. That, I think, about covers it. Ooh, no, we want general education there. Better. All right, so we're not even below 10% with this. And we're pretty much coming up to par with the US in terms of education. I mean, among other things, we have some pretty good stats here, including 19 students to teacher ratio. That's pretty good. Our literacy rate has been slowly declining, though I would like to get that up. Would like to get that up. We have primary school attendance rate now. Literacy aids. We might just want to push that up. That might be worth it. The situation is alarming in Vietnam. Okay. I keep being told that, but it has yet to result in anything close to a famine, so I'm not too worried, to be honest. Not too worried. Alright. I'm tempted to knock out the, just knock down the key interest rate, raise the minimum wage, and hopefully try and push for growth that way. Well, really, I mean, knocking down the key interest rate would be how I would, stop losing so much of my economy from raising the interest rate. We'll see, though. Because our growth rate is steadily declining, which is meh. But, here's hoping. Houses are not a terrible thing to do as well. We talked about that as well, and I've been told that we have a shortage. So we can start with a few extra of those. That's a $500 million. Now we'll commit a full $1 billion to it as well. And there we go. Yeah. So that will help. You know what? Let's do it. I'm gonna crank the minimum wage up. I'm just sitting here just staring at this. Is this gonna be worth it? Or do I spell my doom doing this? Yeah, that's a toughie. Like, we're still sitting around the same unemployment figures. I cannot seem to change it. As I've talked about, though, privatization of the service industry might not be terrible, though.
We could greatly
Yeah, we could greatly improve the healthcare system with more funding. I know. Believe me, it's something on my friggin' list to do this quarter. Start with a 5-star system. On the vaccination services, AIDS. This stuff's stupid cheap. Fuck it. Let's grab it all. Alright. Maternity up 5 stars. Apparently maternity is stupid cheap as well. I should go through some of these and see where the actual cost lays in them. Okay, I feel like something is wrong here if the emergency department is not costing me anything. 3 million. Like, where are the super cheap ones? Okay, everything below, like, the first couple is stupid cheap. Because that's 800 million. And we just maxed out, like, half of these damn things. That's 3 billion, yeah. That's 3 billion. That's actually pretty decent, though. Something like this would be, on the other hand, 8 billion, yeah. Coverage for work accidents, 3.5 billion. Coverage for maternity leave, 1 billion. Hygiene and stuff, 130 million, that's worth. I'm really working on this healthcare system. We're working on it. And I should probably go look through, like, education and try and find cheap ones that I can really pump up. Alright, how much do I have to work with here still? At 8% surplus, I should have 23 billion to work with. Let's go back to education as well here. That's 1.3. 3 billion. 300 million. That seems reasonable. 456 million, maybe. 2.5 billion. 1.7 billion. 16 billion. 2.4 billion. 1.66 million, definitely. 32 million, definitely. 32 million, definitely. Alright, so we've started up a pile in our stuff here. This stuff, I believe, is all about the same. So, yeah, 3.25 billion per. Okay. Well, that significantly improves our education. Got a pile more stars than that. So, the rest of this. Basically, if I leave renewal and maintenance out of it, it's reasonable. We'll see. Alright. Definitely made some interesting changes thus far. Fight against cancer, public finances is fine. I want to be left with at least 6 billion in profits, though, in all seriousness. So my real budget expenditure limit is about 90 billion, because I want to be able to just privatize the services industries and still have enough left over. Because I can use the privatization to pay off a pile of debt. And also it'll probably grow better if it's not managed by me. Don't get me wrong, you always count on the absolute confidence of the party, but you know our members are anxious to see you apply to program in a more systematic and aggressive manner. Yeah. Which is everyone in the party loves me, but they're like, you're going against policy a lot. Is everything okay? You know? They're concerned. They don't necessarily hate me, thankfully. But they're concerned. 9 billion it'll be. Very well. Double up on the number of doctors while we're at it. It's barely anything by comparison. And we still have, 1,300 people, 49 people per medical doctor, which is unacceptable. I want that halved. Alright. Let's again have a look at this. We have about 4 billion wiggle room still. It's not terrible. 4 billion wiggle room. Anticipate the tensions. You want more religious freedom. Nope. State-endorsed atheism. Welcome to communism, friendo. It's pretty normal. Alright, so we've finally begun spending most of our excess budget. Which, This is quite a lot of debt. Not happy about it. Debt as a percent of GDP has spiked up about 10%. Alright. But all this spending, our growth rate is now increasing slightly. Good. Alright. So with about 4 billion left over, that's only about 500 million. There's all my wiggle room gone. Just getting rid of that 1 star, man. I feel like I could do so much more if renewal and maintenance I dropped. Oh, and this would still make me money. And I still have 4 billion wiggle room. Like, if I cut out renewal and maintenance from the budget, like, I could literally get 10 stars in everything else. God, that stuff is expensive. That stuff is ridiculously expensive. But, you know what? I'm proud of our extreme education reforms. We're going to see the illiteracy rate drop. And I think things are going to be very good. I think things are going to be very good. Percentage of scientists, population is growing. And seriously, this illiteracy rate, I want that down. Yeah, my friggin' intelligence agency hates me. I know that already. I don't give a crap. I pretty much disintegrated them. Alright. So, GDP is still increasing. We've grown 20%. 6.68, so it's increasing. All my spending in education and healthcare have definitely helped. How, speaking of which, is our set? Like, our life expectancy has jumped 10 years. Child mortality rate dropped by 1 in 1,000. It's a good start. I'd really like to get that lower. Population per medical doctor is dropping. Population per hospital bed has actually increased. I could use some more hospitals. All right. That's an acceptable request. 1 billion extra for the hospitals. Very well. That's a reasonable request. They're a major trading partner. I'll have to have a look at them. Seropositive rate increases, but I mean, really, we just want to try and hold that down as long as possible until the cure for AIDS comes along. Yeah, we want him in meeting with Indonesia, sure. Alright. Honestly, not bad, though. Like, I'm not quite... I'm a
But are you
fool.
crazy? You are screwing up the whole thing. Your job and your country.
Yeah. Whatever you say. I assume it's probably because I've taken on piles of debt. Yeah, public finances. They're not great, I'll admit. but public debt as a percent of GDP is still only 42%. And that's after I just reformed our education and healthcare systems to near Western levels. So you know what? I'm fine with that.
Good morning.
Yeah. Well, what are we looking at here? You guys are looking to buy our milk. We don't even have enough for ourselves. I'm sorry. I have to refuse. All right. Discovers corn-based biodegradable plastics. Good. As we were talking about. How's aluminum? We don't have that. We were just talking about steel before. And apparently, big issue here. Like, we need, like, to get 2 billion of that. GDP in the secondary sector is climbing. Okay. So let's have a look at this quarter and see how things go. And we'll call the episode there. We still have a budget excess. Though I'm worried that a massive interest rate hike due to my spending could threaten that. Could very threaten that. But I can work around it, so it'll be okay. We just have this birth rate spike here. Jeez. Population growth is 1%. Okay. Child mortality rate is going down. Very good. I've gotten 0.32 urbanization rate in 1 year. That's amazing. I wish I could have ever achieved something that close as Ethiopia. Christ, in 10 years I managed to knock the urbanization rate up by like 0.2%. Oh, I'm working on it. Pop living percent below the poverty line. Good, good. Alright. We're going to see how things go this quarter here, and we might just have to crank up the minimum wage for extra income. The problem is the amount of unemployment that's likely to create. Drop the key interest rate to counteract it. We'll see.
Good news. Our financial performance in the last quarter shows a cash surplus.
5 billion cash surplus. Okay. That ain't bad. Like, our excess actually increased. Good news. India and Russia are starting to lose faith in my economy, though. Should be 0.10, but it's not. Alright. I mean, we're slowly paying off the World Bank loan, so there's that. But, yeah. Like I said, I want to move towards privatizing the service industry this year. Because although it provides me 6 billion, it doesn't even provide me 6 billion. Most of it, I'm pretty sure, if I could figure it out, I'm pretty certain it probably gives me the info somewhere, is in oil. Right? Like, conventional oil. Profits are 2.2 billion. So the entirety of my service sector right now is getting me about 4 billion. In short, for all the hell it's going to cause me, I need to move towards privatization. Because 3 billion, I don't suppose I can just, I can't really mass privatize. Like, we're going to see ourselves able to wipe out maybe 10% of our debt. Just, boom. On the other hand, 4 billion per year. It's also not bad for wiping out debt. But I'm not confident in my ability to manage it, is really my problem. Public debt dropping again. Good. So we got 25, 25, so 50. 60, 70, 80, 90. We're at about 90 billion debt. It's not too bad, actually. Yeah, that's like 90 billion note is actually pretty good if you look at our revenue. Like, that's below our revenue. That's ridiculous. I didn't realize it was that low. Then again, both my revenue and expenditures are stupid high right now. I'm getting up to Western levels. Alright, well, as I said, this is going to be the end of the episode. Done some interesting things this quarter. Our reform packages have worked out rather well. Rather well, I'd say. Regulate contraception. Authorize at will. Family allowances. Same-sex parent adoption. Legalization. Yeah, we should probably, the state shouldn't interfere with the bedroom, declared Pierre Elliott Trudeau, the future Canadian Prime Minister in 1960. There's religious and cultural sensitivities. Yeah, I should probably allow it. Legalization of abortion. Legal on demand. Good. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff I have to work through. Like I said, one of the reasons why I picked Vietnam is because it's Ethiopia after being ruled by me for 20 years. which is always funny to see. And I mean, I'm definitely clawing my way up to a Western level. It's going to take a little while, but we're getting there. Apparently, the HDI we've punched up about 0.3. It's not bad. I'd like to get that a little higher, though. I mean, all things considered, I think our HDI will be going up a fair bit this year. Thanks to my reform packages, we hope. The illiteracy rate still at a steady decline, which is really why I want to just push our literacy order up to 10 stars. Just say screw it. But we can't afford it. We've gotten a lot out of our systems right now. I'm happy with it. And hopefully we can finish our health reforms and actually get enough doctors into things. Because population per medical doctor, we're down to 830. That's pretty good. We want that to be around 1 in, maybe 200. I'd be okay with that. Pretty good. Alright. Life expectancy 84. Like, it just keeps climbing. Holy shit. When you realize that we've gone up 11 in a year and a half. Ugh. We're getting there. And somehow our HDI isn't increasing. Ah, well. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This has been your lovely, lovely host, Kelvin, signing off.